I'm particularly pleased to be here at this event because I was standing here in Frankfurt, not in this room, but somewhere else a couple of years ago, talking about circular economy. And now, a couple of years later, I'm again here to talk about the topic. And now, 4 years later, a lot of things have changed. And therefore, we defined the headline a bit new, so the transformation of the circular economy. And a few things you have already heard in the speech of Company Zülke regarding circular economy and the shift that we see at the moment. What's the agenda for today? I will give you a brief introduction to the company I work for at the moment. I give you some retrospects of this conference 4 years ago. So what were the takeaways that I suggested 4 years ago regarding circular economy? Then something that is, I think, important to look what is circular economy and sustainability at the moment. In a nutshell, so very shortly, what does it mean? And then 3 points, 3 issues that I see that are important. So that's about circular economy as a disruptive strategy, circular economy and the organizational development. So what is required in organizations when you want to integrate circular economy, and the transformation process, and some insights from REHAU, where I work for, and then an outlook. Maybe in 6 years I will be here again, and then look what the takeaways were and if it was right or wrong. So just about the REHAU Group, we are a polymer company. You can imagine that it's not so easy at the moment to be a polymer company, but we are. We do a lot of different products out of plastics and polymers. Altogether at the moment 5 subgroups are in this group, more than 20,000 employees worldwide. We are based on all continents with nearly 200 locations and with nearly 5 billion euro now turnover. So a good middle-class company. I work for REHAU Industries, which is one subgroup inside the REHAU Group. And I'm responsible here for the sustainability management. That means for the reporting, like EcoVadis, CDP, the sustainability report, and the strategic development of this subgroup. And the subgroup consists of 4 divisions. So you can see building solutions about civil engineering and products in the building industry and building technologies. The window solutions is about, especially about window profiles. Then interior solutions is a topic of, I have to take this one here. This is so fancy. About furniture industry, and the industrial solutions, that is about different developments for the industry, for the international industry, and this in this case as well for the public transport. So that's my job. What did I say actually a couple of years ago regarding circular economy and what was the topic at that site? So just a quick look back, a retrospect to circular economy and climate neutral strategies. That was the headline over the conference 4 years ago. So I've divided it into 2 boxes. Left side sustainability and on the right side circular economy. So the key takeaways at that time, roll back, was that sustainability will be an imperative. We heard it again, but 4 years ago it was a bit different. We had already directives in Europe regarding listed companies to have a sustainability report, but it was not something where you said it would be an imperative. No. And on the other side, the transformation towards sustainability, I said that it is a top-down and bottom-up approach. So you need some lighthouse projects from the bottom, and you need as well targets from the top. On the side of circular economy, for me, it was important at that time to say, okay, circular economy is not recycling economy. We heard this today. So at that time, circular economy was more like recycling economy. And it was more than recycle. That was what you could see here. Upsala. It was wrong. Yeah, more than recycle. What does it mean? We will look a bit later. And as well, what we heard a bit today is that the role model for circular economy, maybe you know the butterfly diagram from Ellen MacArthur Foundation. The role model for circular economy is diversity, the sun, and nutrition. So nutrition means we have no waste. We have to abolish waste in industries. Sun means, okay, we need renewable energies. And diversity means it has to be not monocultural, it has to be diverse. We have to look for different solutions regarding circular economy, and these are different services as well. So that was, at that time, my conscience about these topics. And now what it is today. So what is it in a nutshell today? What can we say regarding sustainability? We have it. The headline is, or the thesis is, sustainability and circular economy will be financially. So sustainability and circular economy will be financially. We know that if you are involved in the reporting and the non-financial and financial reporting, that we have to look now for the opportunities and risks from a financial point of view. Therefore, sustainability and circular economy will be financially. And that has a lot to do with the CFOs of our companies. So this is coming more from the sustainability side. It means the sustainability reporting is given equal status to the financial reporting in the European Union. And we have similar developments in Asia and China. So that is important to understand. So we come on an equal level. We are not there, but we're getting there at the moment. And the CSRD, so the European Reporting Directive, saying that there are more than 50,000 companies who will have to do this reporting, this equal reporting, in the next 2 years. Some are already doing it because they are listed, and the rest will do it next year. So this makes sustainability a board issue. 4 years ago, it was not a board issue. It was in a, say, separate sustainability department. Maybe when the financial investors came, they said, okay, if you want to know something, go to the department. But it's now becoming a board issue. So the decision-making and supervisory bodies are liable for insufficient or false information. That is as well important to understand. When we bring these two things together, the non-financial and the financial reporting, to one financial report, it is as well a liable thing. And when something is a liable thing, we just had the discussion outside regarding e-learnings in companies, and that you have always anti-corruption, cybercrime, and all these things. You know now that as well the other things will become very important for the board. In the past, we didn't have any resources on sustainability management on that, but this will change. Sustainability is becoming relevant for financing and strategy. That's the headline. So it will be important as well to have a look at that. And sustainability can no longer be dealt with in isolation. So it's not anymore just a part of a department. It's a part of the board. To sum it up, sustainability is becoming relevant to the board, so that is long-term strategy and business development. Long-term strategy, business development. When it comes to circular economy, what does it mean? So the basic principle of circular economy is the creation of new services. Why? Because when we talk about circular economy, we talk about no waste. No waste. So when we talk about no waste, we're talking about services because we want to take everything in the loop. And you see in between the recycling economy. That is a step that you need. To go from linear to circular economy, you usually need in your company the step in between the recycling economy. That's the reason why we had it in the last years. Because the leap, the step from linear to circular is too big, especially for production companies or manufacturing companies like we at REHAU. For somebody who's in services, it is quite hard to go to production, and from somebody from production to go to paid services, that is a big step. That it's not so easy. So the services is the main thing that you have to think of, but it's the hardest thing. And today I want to show you what could be the first step for you as a company to come to start with that services, to paid services. So the biggest challenge, as I said, is the leap from being a mere manufacturer to also being a service provider that is paid for the service. That is very important to understand what it means really for the whole organization. It's a different thing when you are an OEM in the automotive industry to say, I'm manufacturing cars or I'm sharing cars. How sexy is that? It's, for a diesel engineer, it is something that he cannot imagine. Cannot imagine just sharing cars, not building cars, but sharing cars. So that's important. That's what everybody who is in production or who has business model of production has to think about for the organization. So it's a big transformation. So as we can see, it is a disruptive strategy. It is something that is not coming like this. It takes time for the organization and for the customers because it's just only working with the customers. I come to that later. So circular economy is a disruptive strategy for the manufacturing sector and or beyond. So it's a lot as well for example, startups, or maybe it's good to have startups linked with manufacturing companies because it's so hard to go to the service point. So an imperative for all manufacturing companies, I already said. So the new imperative is not sustainability, it's now circular economy for the production side. So we see in the, I have to mention it, the ESRS E5, it's about resource efficiency and circular economy. For all production companies, this is material. You will have it in your sustainability report, so it's integrated in your financial report, so you have to have the board to look at this topic, because it's a liable topic, and they have to cope with that. They have to see it. So in a manufacturing industry, that is a topic that is material, like climate, that is material, and like governance. So we have always the three. You have, for a manufacturing company, you have always at least the climate topic, the circular economy topic, the governance topic, and usually as well the own workforce and the supply chain. Second point, the strongest innovation driver for the coming years is the circular economy. When you look at buildings, when you look at whiteware, brownware, whatever, we are already in the Western Hemisphere, we are at a level we cannot get better. We have passive houses, climate neutral housing, we have the A+++++, refrigerators and so on. So that is the level of innovation that we drove in the past years. So it has to be different. So the circular design offers plenty of options for the product development. So you have to cope with that circular design criteria. You have to include them in your process. And expansion and addition of paid services and or offers of growth. So there's an offer of growth opportunities, plenty of them, through a different design. So these are innovation drivers, not just for the products, but as well for the business models. And that's important to understand because it's a board issue. It's a board issue. And then the third point, I think we know it's a key lever for reducing Scope 3 emissions is the circular economy. So if you want to be climate neutral on a balance sheet as a company that deals with materials who are producing your products with materials, you have to go for the circular economy. Otherwise, it's not possible. We're talking a lot about Scope 1 and 2. Okay, that's easy. Scope 1 and 2 of our emissions at our company are 5%. 5% of 100%. 95% is the upstream and the downstream level. So if you're honest and want to talk about climate neutrality on a balance sheet, you have to address the material. And you can only address the material with closed loops, with services. So it's important that materials are the main driver of Scope 3 emissions for the manufacturing sector. Not for Microsoft, not for SAP, but for the manufacturing sector. That is important to understand, but maybe sidestep, maybe you've read a couple of weeks ago the headline of Microsoft. A couple of years ago, I was at a conference saying, they said we will be climate positive in the future. And now with artificial intelligence, where are they now? Yeah, rebound effect, we call it, rebound effect. So even for the software industry and for all the IT, it's not so easy. So that is important to understand. And if you want to reach science-based targets, or if you are part of the science-based target initiatives, you need as well these kind of closed loops. Otherwise, you won't get into your targets or won't reach your targets. So development of a new industrial sectors will come up and new business models, business divisions are due to come. What does it mean when we look at the industry now? I told you about the E5, ESRS standards. That's about resource efficiency, and it's about circular economy. So excellence in resource efficiency, secondary material use, and upcycling in the future is a future standard. It's something that is the basis for everything. It's nothing new. It's not innovative. And the history of my company, of REHAU Industry, where I worked for, is just showing, okay, we did a lot about use of post-industrial extrusion, like in these window profiles, or more than 60 years of similar extruder molds for the hand slang of the Volkswagen Beetle. We already used in the 80s mixed post-consumer material for our pipes and made a shaft, a civil engineering shaft out of secondary material, the gelber Sack, it's known here in Germany. We then started 20 years ago linking with the bottle industry to get the bottle caps back and used it for our percolation systems with injection molding, and so on and so on. So that is the standard. The last topic that we had, we just presented it a couple of months ago at the IFAD in Munich. It was a really very big inject molding product, as well as a shaft like this one here. But this is as well with a possibility to use secondary material. But what's new in all this, we never talked about the carbon footprint. And that is now the important thing. That is the difference to the past. In the past, it was just resource efficiency. It was just about getting savings through less material use or to secondary material. And now we're talking about this. So that's important. But this is standard, nothing new, just a standard. So what is important? What do you need in an organization regarding this? So as circular economy is a disruptive strategy, it requires not just a clear tone from the top, but you need worldwide new competences. When you are a technical company, you have a lot of competences on different things. We have a lot of competences in chemicals. Because of decades, we have all these chemistry people. And now they have to think about new developments, new designs. And you need internal and external organization development, because circular economy is just possible with a collaboration with internal and external stakeholders. So in the end, you need the board, you need the employees, and you need especially the middle management. So the middle management, that is the most important and most difficult challenge. The middle management, that is the low layer, we always say. That is the most. When you get the middle management, or just a few of them, to follow you and to get into that development, then you have won a lot. The next thing is you need the competences. It is important that you put the people in these conferences, in CSR courses, in circular economy classes, whatever, because they haven't learned it at the university or in school. So it's important that they get the competences. Otherwise, it's not easy that they can have, without the skills that they've learned, that they can really have the competences to build or to develop new products or business models. And you need new structures. From my point of view, decentralized structures. It shouldn't be dependent on the central headquarters. It should be decentralized. And usually, when it's possible, diverse teams to look at the best solutions. And the same for it's not so easy, actually, I have to say, for the external stakeholders. So it's very, very important that you line up with your customers, with your suppliers, and that you build up partnerships. And that is as well a hard thing, because from a customer-supplier range, like here's a customer, here's a supplier, to go on that level, that is not easy. As well a big challenge, the same challenge like the middle management. But it's important, otherwise you don't get the figures or the numbers that you need for climate or whatever. So that's an important point. So in the end, you need top-down decisions, you need LEADERS projects, you have to build up global competences and teams, and you need collaboration internally and externally. what we have done, and I here the guy from Zürich said it as well, there are a lot of fundings out there, a lot of fundings from the European Union regarding circular economy. So if you don't have somebody responsible for public funding in your company, get one as an external consultant and get these fundings. We are in this project here. It has to have a different kind of design because otherwise it's not possible to show it. So that is a funding project of the Federal Ministry of Education and Research. It's lasting 5 years from last year, 2023, until 2028. And it's just about competencies in the workforce. Just about funding of the competencies in the workforce, in the plants, in the administration, in human resources, in product development, in everything. So that's what we're doing. So it's procurement involved, it's development, product development involved, the production is involved, and the marketing and sales is involved. So these are all things, and there are 10 companies, small companies and large companies, working together like partners to be transparent and to understand the business model of the others and to exchange views, and this for the next 3-4 years. So it's really a lot of competence that you can gain. And it's not this customer-supplier relationship, it's really like a body of partners that have maybe just 30 employees and we with 12,000, but we are on the same level in that project. So it's a very nice thing. And look for these projects. That's, I think, a very, very important step. So last but not least, some insights, what we're doing in REHAU and about our transformation process. I think you have already noted we as well in our transformation phase from linear to recycling to part of circular economy. We are just on our way. Early stage, we can say. Very early stage. So I showed you we are doing a lot in recycling economy with internal loops, with external loops. That's a lot to do. But what about services? So where we have started the services in recycling is that we are not just using secondary material, but we have built up our own logistics for that, our own logistics for the recycling. So we have an input, as you can see here, of 70,000 tons per year of secondary material that is going or coming from old windows, that is coming as well, not so here, from waste from the fabricators. And in the end, you're getting such a profile out of that. What you can see here maybe from the last is inside it's gray and outside it's white. The outside is a virgin material, the inside is a secondary material. Roughly you can say minimum 60% of all profiles have this kind of have this kind of secondary material. So 60% is secondary material minimum, and 50% of the 60% is from old windows, and 50% is just from the waste from the fabricators, our own fabricators and fabricators of competitors. So in the end, and I told you regarding climate neutral strategies, why? Because we're saving 100,000 tons per year just because of this process. 1,000 tons. So that would be very expensive to compensate. So in the end, the processing of product waste is an established business model at REHAU. So it's nothing that we can say, oh, we are very innovative. No, it's a standard now. So we have to look for the new. We have to look for the innovation. And here, why can we do it? What is, say, the basic when you're not at that stage? You need suitable product design. Because only when you have suitable product design, you can reuse the material. So where our material comes from is the internal return material, the production waste, as I said, and the old windows. That's what we're doing. That's the standard process since 10 years. And the right product design ensures that materials are future-proof. So it's not just that we are using secondary material, we already take care of the future because we know these windows are future-proof, you can use it again. 7 times you can use it again, the secondary material. But not what about new services? So where is our step to the circular economy? Here I've got 3 examples, and I will close up with the last example from our company. Maybe you know the REHAU. REHAU is a startup of Munich starting in 2018. You can have it in, I think, more than 4,000 bakeries now. And you buy the REHAU, you have to pay a deposit of €1. And when you bring it back to the bakery, you get €1 back. What is a circular design? It's a service design because it's not just lasting 5 minutes, like you can see here. It's lasting 2,500 minutes. That means you can wash it 500 times to reuse it. So that is the circular design, the circular service design that they have made with that cup. The next one, maybe you've heard of that, The Future is Neutral, the company of REHAU, started 3 years ago. So REHAU is the first car manufacturer who is completely in the automotive circular economy. So they are reusing design, and this current model here, the Renault Scenic E-Tech, it's one of the first models who has a lot of secondary material inside. Even the glass roof is 50% out of recycling material. So that's what Renault is doing. So they are really at the forefront. And what we are doing is REHAU Window ID, and that is the consequent next step to circular economy because it is addressing the digital product passport. The digital product passport will be vital, will be mandatory for all products in the future in the European Union. And the digital product passport is nothing more than, say, the sustainability report of a product. So it's just the next consequent step from transparency in a company to transparency to the product. And that is important to understand. So when you want to step into the circular economy, the first step from my point of view is to make your product transparent. So what we are doing is just a QR code. And the interesting thing about it is this is a business model. So fabricators who are using the window ID are paying money for it, for every window. They are addressing where they have a QR code, they have to pay because what is it? It is the window is installed, the fabricators make pictures of the building site for quality reasons, for everything, and that is all stored somewhere on a server. And for all this, for all the whole thing, the customer, the fabricator is paying money. So it's the first step to a paid service. And I think the digital product passport is something where you can be a first mover because there's something coming up. The window ID is not the defined digital passport of the European Union. It's just a first step into that direction. And you can do it with every product, I would say. So that is the first step from production economy to a paid circular service. So the outlook. What do I see? What do we need for a real circular economy? Because at the moment, I think we cannot imagine that we have no waste. So first, we need a favorable system conditions. I think we have talked about it a bit. So we have the reporting standard now. As I said, the production industry will have to report on circular economy. So it's a good foundation on that. We have some kind of circular thinking already. Depends on the country. We have more or less macroeconomic opportunities in the political arena are very important for that. But we are on our way, I would say. Then we need the circular ecosystems. So we have to understand what does it mean. The concept of waste is abolished, keep resources in continuous use, regenerating natural ecosystems. That is all these things that we have to understand and that we have to build around a system. Then we have to talk about the circular business models. So for this, we need the competence as well in the strategic departments, in the product development. And on top of that, you need circular design. We talked about it at the table. There are two concepts. Apart from the value hill that was represented here by Zülke, we have as well the concept of standard strategies for products that flow. That means products that are not lasting long, because for some reasons you don't need that. And you need a standard strategy for products that last forever, or that last and that are not flowing. So one is the flowing, one is the lasting, and here circular design rules needs to be mandatory. That is important. So circular design has to be implemented in the production design process. So in the end, today's operational excellence in circular economy is tomorrow's standard. Nothing more to say. Thank you.